Okay. We're gonna do a quick look-see here. Wow. Every time I successfully do this, I firmly believe that it will not work. And who knows? Maybe I'll get a message here in a second telling me that I've accidentally done something wrong. Alright, let's load us up into... do a little comp. My quick play games have already been stressful. Let's do comp. Of course. Yeah, don't load tank on comp unless you want to play tank. That's okay though, I like playing tank. Li Zhang Tower. I like the little ram on Li Zhang. Maybe I'll get lucky and the opposing team will run like a spam comp and I can practice a little Zarya. Because I feel like I moderately understand what she's doing, but I don't... Oh yeah, I forgot that this computer was wild on the sensitivity. I'm gonna bump this to 15. I got on one last night during our game that also had crazy, just like, I think it's the DPI. I don't know, I'm new to all these, like, competitive gaming terms. I feel like I need to scoot this over a little bit so I can use more of that mouse pad. But we'll find out. This guy also likes a little ram on Li Zhang. Oop. Hit that floor, Lucio. Dang. Okay, I'm gonna scoot this just a little bit. There we go. That'll make me feel moderately more comfortable with my wrist space. I'll try and go this way. Right into the Reaper, that's fun. Sheesh. It's okay. Oh, look at the portrait for the comp ranks. Love to see it. Alright. Can't. Ooh. That lagged a little bit too hard for me. At one point, I would proudly proclaim myself as a lag warrior. That was a well-timed fade. Okay. Oh, thank you. I need just a little health. It'd be great. Okay. Oh, man. I'm trying to pull this back from real low. It's gonna be crazy. letting myself get distracted by a flanker. I apologize for anyone that notices the immense background noise that I can only assume you guys can hear. The tornado that hit last week did trash the air conditioning in this part of this building. And so we've got fans running everywhere, trying to make sure that it's moderately comfortable in the lab. And it is. It's working surprisingly well. It's working pretty well. One of our buildings on campus has been finally a Gracie stream. I was working on it. I'm working on it. One of the buildings on campus got the worst of it, and I think everywhere else is just kind of just maybe a little beaten up. It's not too bad. Currently, we're playing a little bit of competitive because I played a couple of games of quick play before being able to hop on, and it was rough already. So you know what? We might as well hit comp. If the quick play games are going to be that stressful, might as well earn something from it. But no, there was one of my quick play games. We were doing payload on Rialto, and I was playing tank, and I decided to do Sigma. Because I just haven't really. I've been wanting to try more Zarya, and I haven't really been getting enough the right enemy team comp for me to really successfully try Zarya. Like, it's been a lot of Queen. Queen is very popular today for whatever reason. We ended up pulling it back twice from overtime because we didn't get the payload to the checkpoints fast enough. And then we almost got it to the third point after doing that both times. It was kind of crazy. You know, after that first match didn't super work, I definitely should have... Woohoo! That is so weird. I'm not used to this lagging like that. I was going to say, I should have looked at my team comp after the last map didn't go super well. Because I have noticed sometimes I'll end up playing one tank and it doesn't quite work with what my team is wanting to do. Like, I play a lot of brawl and dive tanks, and I end up getting a lot of poke teammates, like Widows and Sojourns, that prefer to sit back and watch, so that they can build their rail. Which, like, yeah. If that's what you do, I didn't hit a single one of those punches. If that's what you do, that's what you do. It'll work. That was lagging so hard at the end. But I've noticed that sometimes I'll get into a comp where my teams aren't necessarily trying to do the same kind of thing that I'm trying to do, and it makes it a little hard for me to support them at the distance that they're wanting it to be they're wanting my support from, you know? So I've been trying to be a bit more conscious of what my teammates are just going in thinking they're going to do. I did get... Hold on, let's go back. I did get to Silver 3 when I ranked this season, which is awesome. Last season I was Bronze 3. Yeah, I think Bronze 3 whenever I ranked. And I did that in like January. And then before that, I had never ranked. So, anyway, I'm hoping if there's anybody out there watching, you'd let me know if you can't hear me. I'm trying my best to talk at a moderate volume, but you know, sometimes it can be hard to hear. No, a strange little friend. I do like Venture on this map. It's kind of a weird one. There is a fan in the background. Landon, we've got a little bit of tornado damage that we're suffering from. The AC in the lab is broken. So we've got fans in both rooms. I'm not gonna be here. Where's my tank? Okay, you hang out there, and I will try to help. Whew. Nope. I almost did it. Yeah, there are multiple fans in the background. We're trying our best to keep these rooms tolerable for our players. It's working. It's not that bad in here, but it does mean that I don't want to turn off the fan or close the door to the other fans. So, yes, a little venture. Venture and ran. We'll see it. Where did you go? Well, she faded, so I guess I'll find her later. Did we find her? We did. That Moira's been crazy this game. So has the lag. So, yeah, the main lab room, I don't know if you've taken a tour yet over here, but if you do and you're interested in esports, Cody will show you around the lab. He loves doing it. Oh my gosh. If my aim was any better, I would have been able to take out the Zarya, but alas. Yeah. So, if you know what the main lab looks like, the AC is what's broken. It's not anything in the room. All the equipment's still fine. It's just the air conditioning. That's why you hear the fan. But you plan on joining esports with your friends? What do you and your friends play? I shouldn't have done that. What do you and your friends play? We've got a couple of games that we run already, and Cody's always down to add new games. Sup? You want to come talk? Yeah, sure. I'm in a comp game right now, but I'll invite you when you're done. Got John. He, like me, is one of the newest members of the JV Overwatch team. That's my first kill this entire game. Mostly 5v5 shooters. Oh, you getting your stuff? 5v5 shooters. Would one of those happen to be Call of Duty? Because I've been struggling for the past, like, year and a half to try and get people to play Call of Duty for the college. That's why I'm so mid at Overwatch. I grew up playing COD, and I wanted to join specifically for that. Where'd you go? You shouldn't be back here, cowboy. You shouldn't be back here, cowboy. Ah, I shouldn't have done that. I say I should have done that. I feel like I could have. Maybe if I knew he didn't have his fan. Ooh, I'm gonna sit back here. Because if we lose, I get to join John. And since this is lagging a little bit, I'll go back to quick play anyway. If we don't lose, no, well, RIP. But 5v5 shooters includes Overwatch. This guy was doing crazy, actually. I do want to give you an endorsement, and then I'll endorse our own Moira. For why not? But we're gonna hop on out of here. And I'm gonna get John in the game. Not my bronze 1 ring. Let's go. He's not actually in the game yet. He's still logging him. I don't know if we'll catch that. Valorant or CSGO? When we play those, we were better as a trio on games like Valorant or CSGO, but we can play team deathmatch games if that's what you mean. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know that I remember what I said. Valorant or CSGO? I don't know a whole lot about CSGO, but Valorant is also a hero shooter, right? So, are you more into... I guess... Yeah, I was talking about Call of Duty. So are you more into the 5v5 shooters that are a bit more strategic, like Overwatch, for example?
I logged in, I'm already in the Discord, but I'll be in a second.
Alright. Okay, we're gonna put this here for now, so that I can log into Discord, so that I can chat with John. No, not that one. This one. And then... Discord. Okay. Alright. You'll have to excuse me for not knowing a whole lot about either of those games. Like I said, I play Call of Duty, but I am far and away more of a single player gamer. Give John that. Here we go.
Hello.
Hello. I don't know if you're on the stream, but just FYI, they probably can hear you.
Alrighty. I'm fine with that.
Cool.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Yeah,
you're both.
I got it. Alright. You know what? We're doing quick play. I'll do some flexible.
You know where I'll join you.
What was I saying? Yeah, you'll have to excuse me for not knowing too much about those games. I'm a single player gamer at heart. I love me some like Kingdom Hearts, Skyrim, stuff like that.
Hey, Skyrim all the way. Yeah.
Love Skyrim.
Oh, let me mute myself in game.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Okay. We'll do a Larry.
Wait, what map is it?
Yes,
Havana?
Duo Flex. Yes, Havana. I wonder if Ian will get back up here from dinner in enough time to
They were
join up.
thinking. We got games tonight too, I think. Street Fighter. And,
Yeah. Street
yeah,
Fighter.
I'll be
Here, I got it. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Street Fighter, League of Legends, Rocket League, and Fortnite builds.
Rocket League is not playing tonight. Their match is canceled. They'll play
Ah,
Thursday.
dang. Yes, you can hear John. John, say hi to the people. We've got somebody who's
Hello.
wanting to
How y'all doing?
help his team. Where are we going,
How
Tank?
y'all doing?
We got somebody who's in high school right now with his friends. They want to join up. They play
Oh,
Valorant and CS:GO. We don't have anybody currently playing Valorant, but if you can get 2 other people to join you, like I said, I mean, I was going to say, I don't know that I actually ended up
I
saying
would
it.
re-download Valorant to play.
Yeah, Cody, if you got enough people, Cody will help you put together a team.
Hey, watch out! They got a hog.
Put the pylon here. I shouldn't be reloading like that, but you know what?
Oh wow.
They must have
They're
sniped you.
Widow.
I didn't even notice you were low.
Yeah, they're Widow. I was trying to hide.
He took my pylon. That's so rude.
Bad piggy.
Alright. I'm
I got
sure
you.
everyone can tell that I'm not used to playing
I got
support.
tank.
Okay, I'm trying to get over there. Here, step back a little. There you
Thank you.
go. No, come back. I built
I'm
my
keeping
pylon there
tank
for you, and
alive.
you just left it. There we go.
Hey, I was keeping tank alive.
No, not you.
No dying allowed.
Not for real, though.
Watch out for road. Plenty. Hey, watch out for their Widow.
My pylon's probably in the worst spot up there, but, you know.
I'm playing peekaboo with the Widow.
And I'm trying to keep the tank alive, but they're really making it difficult. I am unsurprised she has her ult already. Jesus. Why does this hog want me like that? Go away.
Hey, he's just cooking me up like I'm an egg. Alrighty.
Dang.
My ult's almost ready, and then I'll be switching to carry.
I thought I had mine. It's the hog. The hog has his ult.
Oh no.
You know what? Maybe that's how everybody knows when ults are. I thought maybe I was just bad at tracking them. Maybe they actually watch their kill cams. I've gotten very used to
I want
not.
kill cams.
Here, you know what? We need this like here.
Oh, that's gonna be a clean shot. There we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if this might scare the widow a little, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to scare the Widow.
Come here.
Widow is low.
Pylon builds. This is not great. I got you, I got you, I got you.
Goodbye.
There we go.
Thank you.
I think that was my
That
pylon.
Was a good play.
I was
That
talking
was
to
a
the
good
tank.
pylon right there. Yeah. I was like, that was a good pylon
That one's
because
not
it
great.
saved me too.
Yeah, I did
I
it
saved
very
you from traps.
selfishly. Oh, thank you. Very bad at noticing traps.
Tire.
And trying to figure out where. Did he hit anybody?
No, that was ours.
Oh, okay.
He blew it up early. No, that was theirs.
Yeah, I thought so. Do we have a junk? Oh, we do.
Yeah, we do. We both do. Okay, so
I shouldn't
popped
be up here.
ult.
I say I shouldn't
I
be up
popped
here if nobody
ult,
else is up here. Yeah,
I
there's
popped
a
ult, so I'll be heading over.
junk's trap is down. Hog's on the right.
I have eyes.
I'm running away. I'm running far away. I don't know. I don't know what I need to pick. I don't play
I'm so glad I have that aim.
support like that.
Okay, we got a sleeper. We got a sleeper.
A sleeper.
Yeah.
Okay, I should have went.
Widow just went. Ugh. Oh my gosh.
Oh no. We got this.
Widow has 0 ult.
We're gonna have to follow this junk. Oh no. Oh no, rat.
Junk, stay alive, my guy.
Can I get up there? I can. Is that a stupid idea? Oh yeah, I guess. I didn't realize you guys had walked around to the other side of the corner.
Widow is on fire.
Alright, let's see here.
Alright, I'm playing a little bit of...
Don't worry.
Playing a little bit of something no one ever sees.
I have been absolute garbage this whole time. Don't worry about it. I wanted to take that pylon down. Let alone the fact my aim has been horrible. I'm not used to support positioning.
Hey, Roadhog on back.
No, he's eating me.
We made an oopsie.
We did?
I did it bad.
Oh, yeah. Here, hold on. Oh, no, they're up there. They're up there. I saw that somebody died, and I guess the outline of our teammates didn't exactly register to me. Is tire, not ours.
Hey, watch
Somebody's
out
got it.
for rip tire.
Somebody got it.
Oh, down.
Whee. I am just doing very bad today. Holy cow. Got a pylon back here for you guys. There was somebody in this building. Ah, she's here. Widow on the left.
Down.
No, Widow's over here.
Yeah, she's down.
Good, good. Come back here. I got my pylon right here.
I got you. Widow. Oh my gosh. Like a mouse.
Okay, please stop walking so far up there, Zara. You're scaring me. What are you getting hit
Yeah,
by?
that Zarya is kind of scaring me. What did I get hit by?
No. The
I
Junkrat.
don't know.
The Junkrat, like, suddenly was at no health, and I was just like,
Yeah,
why
I don't
are
know
you
what I got hit
dying?
by.
Here, wait. This doesn't need to be you. Ah, man. Good job, dude.
Hey, that Mercy's going for the res on the tank.
Okay. Okay, there's pylon up there. That Widow's in the back. Oh, she's trying to get me.
Yeah.
Because I'm out of cover, but
I got
you
it.
know. Who's over here? Why is Mercy over here?
This is why I play Lucio formally.
Dang.
I play Lucio formally.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. To an extent, I can play him pretty well.
I thought you were all about Moira.
Like, good enough to... Moira and I have a connection, okay? But Lucio was my first character I ever learned.
Ah. I mean, to be fair, it's
So
a
I
very
can
good
do- I
one.
can
Lucio's
kinda do
fun.
that.
I was a... On the left?
Hey, watch that rip.
Yeah, it's fine. It didn't hit anybody. Or, correction, it didn't kill anybody. Here, come back over here on the right. Oh.
Junkrat! I almost booped off the edge and he's like, how about no?
What if you didn't, though? Why? Not a ball.
If I didn't. Come on, we got this.
I can't the ball.
Hey, at least they don't have a Roadhog anymore.
Yeah. He hates my pylons. And I hate him for it. Okay, we're killing it now. Put down pylon. Where is he?
I died.
It's okay. Oh, hit the ball, hit the ball, hit the ball. Come on, guys, hit the ball. Well, I say hit the ball.
Zarya doesn't bubble.
Yeah, I
Noticed
noticed.
that.
It's one of those things where it's like, hey, you should have eaten that hog ult earlier. What happened?
Wait, you won?
Apparently. I think you and me, we got in it at the end there. Okay.
Ow.
How? Wait, what is this play? Oh, well, okay. I
This
guess.
was a good play. This is where I kind of helped get the,
Oh no, we all like... I don't know if everybody was
We all
on it
kinda-
immediately, but we were
Yeah.
all... We got there eventually.
There's your endorsement of the day.
Thank you, thank you. Trying to get 15 games in so that I can get some more loot boxes. Let's do a custom game. Let's do... Or not.
Sure.
No custom games this time.
Oh, yeah. You choose.
Oh.
I
King's
am saying-
Row?
I can play Ram, Orisa, Malga, Junker Queen, Sigma, and Ryan. Also Doom, surprisingly.
Let's do Orisa. Yeah, do Orisa.
You want horse?
I want horse.
Alright. You got...
I'm gonna do
the horse
Brig.
you want, the horse you got.
I'll do Brig. Unless you want to pick one for me.
I think Brig would actually is really good on this map. Genuinely, so...
Yeah, that's why I was like, actually though, I almost went Kiriko
Yeah,
so that I could
'cause
pop
this is-
between
this
the
is
Widow
a
and...
Brigida map.
Yeah.
A Brigida and a Orisa map.
I almost tried Kiriko to pop between the DPS because they're playing Cass and Widow, which is like, good, that's fine. But
Yeah,
it's very two
all
different
goes-
spots.
If all goes wrong, I will go Ramashra or Junker Queen.
Yeah. Let's see where you at.
Because these two maps are very good together.
Ooh. Really? Here, I think this is kind of in the way. Where we at?
I'm low.
I'm working on it.
Attack.
Nope, I missed. Here, come back. Oh, we're coming, we're coming.
all goes wrong. Says that as I already have 1,000 plus damage.
I've almost got 1,000 healing. And our Moira does have 1,000 healing because she's a support player, I bet.
I could try to. I could attempt Hazard. I haven't played him yet.
Yeah, yeah. Try Hazard. I almost said something, but I didn't know about it on this map because it's not. It's just not open enough that I'd be like, I don't know about that one. Here, come here. Oh, I missed.
Oh, that was a good hit on him. Got her. Oh! Watch out on turrets.
Yeah. I've been trying to be mindful of them.
I'm going in.
There's a Widow up top.
Yeah.
I don't know what that just said. We're gonna find out what that perk does.
What perk?
The right one on Brigitte, the first one.
Oh.
Right minor. It does something
Okay,
to my
those
Inspire
Yeah.
on my whip shot, but I don't know. I don't know exactly.
In distance, I think. Swing it.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think a little bit of damage. Either that or increased damage. I said if all goes wrong.
Oh yeah, that whip shot distance.
Yeah.
Bro, their sim is crazy. I do not normally endorse breaking the hazard rocks, but I shouldn't have went over there.
I was on point for a minute.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Okay, Moira's coming back.
My ult is at 73.
Somebody switch Sombra. Our Widow's trying.
I could do that.
I have my ult. We could probably get in there. Here, go.
Fortified, come on.
Oi.
Where's our team?
Dead. Mostly.
That makes sense.
Yeah. One of our DPS went Sombra, so like you'll never see her again.
I said if things go wrong, I'm going Junker Queen.
I was about to say, are you here yet? R.I.P. Brig is so cool. I don't know how to play her.
Who?
Brig. She's cool.
Brigitte.
I like sometimes think I understand what she does, and then it's like, no.
It also increases damage if you do headshot.
Yeah.
That perk.
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't read it. I was trying to pick it in the middle of everything. I probably should have read it, though. We'll find out.
If you want to take a second before we queue, we can look at the perks for certain characters that you want.
It's
Do
okay.
it as we go.
I think I'm only gonna flex this next game and then I'll just take support off. Because it keeps throwing me in it.
Yeah.
I say.
I'll do the same. I say that. All right. You know what? Let's see what the chat wants me to use.
Oh, chat. Do we have specific wants for characters? We've got a support and a DPS you can pick. For anybody that happens to be.
Other than Juno.
If we load in before you guys pick, we'll switch. Maybe after we use our ults, depending on how long it takes, but...
I loaded in before.
Well, I meant, like, if the game starts, because we can still change our heroes.
Have you seen the mythic skin from Moira?
The newest one?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
It's crazy.
Pop quiz, John. Where's the health packs on this map?
Oh, this is a map I memorized.
Sick.
For example, there's one right here.
Wild.
Yeah. That's the one Alex actually missed.
I was behind that cover, I think. I thought. Probably not. Considering.
We got a D.Va player. You're mine. I almost bit the dust.
Orisa. Come here, Angel. Ooh, you missed.
Hey, that Sombra just followed me. Has chat said anything yet?
Nope. We may have lost our chatters.
Next round, whatever we get, whatever class we get, chat gets to choose. Here, I'll throw that down there. Clearly didn't do enough. Oh, it's Moose!
Do you even know?
It was our Moose!
Not the Mercy going battle Mercy on us. To be fair, their tank is killing it. Oh yeah. Brig, come back.
Did I walk back into a Sombra?
Brig, come back. Hanzo, come back.
Brigida!
Okay. I guess I'm going up here with them then.
You know what? I'm gonna be funny.
Why could I see that Sombra?
I'm gonna kind of throw as a joke, but
You know what I've noticed?
I'm playing a character I've never played.
And like... Oh, we're here to have fun. Don't worry about that. And let me know if you ever notice it, if you ever play Venture. I think sometimes the first perk that they give you, where you can see people while you're underground, just kind of like goes off while you're not underground. And I don't even have my first perk yet. But I totally saw that Sombra through a wall. Yeah, no, I absolutely did.
Yeah, whenever you're underground, I can see our team.
I'm not even... Like I said, I don't have the perk.
I tried to battle Disney. Hush.
God!
Baptiste, run.
I messed that up so
No, Lucio,
bad.
run
That's
this
so upsetting. You can see the team when I'm
Come on, Hanzo.
underground.
Yes, I
I
can.
wasn't underground when you said that though. We got a lever. Now I should be able to do it while I'm underground, but like sometimes it just be showing me things. D.Va, what was that bomb? That's what I thought, Sombra.
Oh, this is crazy.
my god,
I
anybody
was
live?
healing for a second.
Anybody live?
I was alive. Val is offline.
God.
Moira cooking.
Oh, I guess they may not have left. They probably just disconnected. Because that was the person that left, I think.
No, they left. Who?
Val. Our second support.
Val?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was dead for a minute. You know what I'm gonna do?
Nope.
Look, I'm gonna throw my nuts.
I mean, hear me out. You still have your perk progression.
What do you mean?
Like,
Oh, for Moira, I
yeah.
do.
because
That's weird.
it's only on like payload when you switch sides that it switches. Or switches resets. All we have to do is win this round, says Devo. I hope that jab didn't hit anybody. It didn't sound like it did. Hello.
It missed me by an inch. Hey, come back.
Well, I'm sorry. Here, get
Because I
Devo.
was like that med pack attacked, so.
Well, I wasn't going for the pack.
Hey, we got a widow somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Probably in the back over here. Yeah. See, I can see them. For why?
Yeah, I can too.
Why does that keep happening?
Oh, they're right here.
Yeah. I'm dead.
Diva, I'm sorry, I didn't heal you.
Didn't even know. Oh man. Okay.
Diva, I forgot to heal her, Diva.
I mean, sometimes I play more. Well, I guess you're playing Moira. I play more DPS oriented. Yeah, no, she's been having a ball. She's winning, and we've got the dang Battle Mercy. She's loving it.
I could battle Moira.
Oh, you were gonna help me? I didn't want you to actually do that. I appreciate the backup, Juno, but it's probably not a smart play. I was just gonna make it.
I'm getting the horse. Horse down.
I'm trying to get Mercy. If I could ever...
Oh my gosh. Go for that Sombra.
I'd go for the Sombra if I could see the Sombra. Ooh! Oh no, I missed! I thought I could make it back over there after aiming poorly.
I got Javelin. I think. Yeah, that thing overcharged is insane.
Yep, no, we don't have a Widow.
We need a widow?
No. I'm still trying to figure out the mystery of why we can see the team through walls sometimes. I'm sure it's not a glitch, but it feels like one.
Oh, it's Hanzo.
Oh, does he have a...
Sonar.
Okay. See, I don't know all the characters.
It used to be the fragment arrow. I found their widow.
Oh, go get her. Have fun. Oh,
I tried. Excavation initiation.
Dang.
I don't understand you, Venture enough
What do you mean?
to play Venture.
Oh, it's easy. You just kind of like dig.
On money.
You just kind of dig.
Sombra on my butt.
Oh, I'm on point.
Sombra just ate me.
Should I be on point? Absolutely not, but I was on point. Val is offline, it would seem.
At the end, I was just about to ult her.
Marisa wasn't a pumpkin. Why'd they take the pumpkin head off?
What?
Oh,
yeah, our Hanzo was going nuts.
yeah, I mean, he was trying. I was moderately trying.
I was semi-trying.
Yeah.
Alright, let's remove,
Yeah, I'm not doing
support.
flex. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to flex no more.
Neither do I.
Alright, is anybody else in here? No. Okay.
No.
That's fine.
I love
Alright.
your icon better.
Thank you.
I
Alright,
want to see if I have it.
chat, if you exist, is there a specific character you want to see that isn't
I'm
in
going
support?
I went bunny. I can go aperture science.
Aperture science. Speaking of aperture science, not that this is completely connected.
Portal.
Yeah, but not exactly.
Oh, we should. I was gonna say if you have it on Steam, we should play
I don't have Portal. Dorado. I want to do
should-
Ash. I'm gonna let the other DPS pick before I pick Ash, though. Oh. Okay, I'll play Venture.
what?
Huh?
'Cause
Just
I went
wait, because you went Doom and because the
Doom.
Reaper.
This is a new skin, by the way.
Okay. Wee.
I missed.
She talking to me? Oh, okay. Does that imply that Anna doesn't
Dang.
think Moira is a monster? Because that's what it feel like it implies.
I'm gonna land this. I say it. I said I would land it, and I landed it. Let's
Tiger. Anyway,
go. Tiger.
Tiger. Okay. Oh, do you know what I realized? Venture can shoot the enemy under the cart.
Oh yeah. I cannot play Doom.
I thought you said you could play Doom.
I can, but this ain't that map.
This ain't that map. I ain't him. Oh
This
no.
ain't him.
Oh no, I didn't do it. Oh, well, I didn't realize I had my dash, or I could have gotten out of there. I wanted to kill the Junker Queen. She was this close.
Get over here. Oh, it's a Junker Queen against the Junker Queen. Junker Queen won.
You could have told me which queen. Moira, come here. Tiger.
All right, I'm gonna perform a Bastion, but as a tank.
Ah, you can't have me. Okay, there's one. Oh, oh. I didn't think I'd live through that. I just went in very stupid and then was like, ooh, can I kill that Ana though? I could. I did.
Junker Queen down!
Okay. I'm gonna stop not trying.
Bastion down!
Maybe.
Just like, yeah.
It's very fun to not try sometimes.
I'm not even trying, really.
I mean, I just fed into 4 of them trying to kill the Ana, so like when I say I'm gonna stop not trying, I mean I'm gonna stop severely feeding.
Bubble me. Oh wait, you're not sorry.
Nope.
I was like, I'm the tank here.
Okay, here we go. Right? We're so used to me playing on DPS. Hello?
I'm so used to you on tank.
That's what I meant. It was sarcasm. This Juno's gonna kill me. Ooh.
I'm scattershotting.
Okay, I got that Juno. Good job.
That Junker Queen went ow, with her knife.
Dang.
Yeah.
The slow walk back with Zenyatta.
Yep.
Alright.
This is the Giga Chad version.
Oh, yeah?
You know what?
Oh. Oh, I didn't see that. We didn't see that, chat. Oh, you know what we also didn't see? Any of that. R.I.P. I was dead before she got to me.
Oh, it reloads 150 ammo. I need that.
Oh, yeah, perks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think I'd ever get one of those.
Fair.
Not this game. Oh, we got a Zen?
What, a perk?
Oh, yeah. I've been playing awful. I say that so seriously. It's been bad.
Hey,
You can
yo,
go
I
back
got
and
him
watch the
trapped.
replay.
Do whatever.
Me,
Bastion got trapped.
hiding. Hiding
Do
is
whatever.
currently what I'm doing. Okay, sounds good.
Do something. Do a good.
Do a good? I can try.
Do a. I'll do it. I'll do a thing.
Oh, that was bad. I didn't do a good.
What?
I did a very bad.
You did it bad.
Yeah,
You did it bad.
it was really bad.
I did it bad.
Oh no.
They're too good.
I don't know. I think there's just
Bastion
something in the
dropped a 20
air.
bomb.
I'm gonna play
I think
Sniper
my
Venture.
allergies are acting up. I'm failing.
Yes, that's what I'll blame it on. Allergies.
Really?
Yeah,
You
pull
just
me.
Stop that payload.
I wish. Currently, feeding.
Cook.
Ha ha ha! Here, I'm on top of the payload. They're on a disconnected. Oh no. I saw her leave right in front of my eyes. Look at you guys go.
I can't die. I've still got more stuff to see.
I can't die. Venture, I'm sure you can. I will get there somehow.
Get out
Yeah,
of
let's
here.
just hold them here. They don't have forward spawn, right? No.
No.
Let's get them here. I could get up there.
Oh, I can do this. Wait, I can do this. I can do this.
You gonna sniper duel the
Oh, I
widow?
hit her. Yeah.
I love Orion sniper duel. That's awesome.
Oh, I got her! I can't believe I got her.
We saw it in the feed. You saw it here, chat. Here, I'm coming. Oh, no, never mind. I shouldn't be here.
I'm the better sniper. It's been confirmed.
Ryan is a better sniper than Widow. It's canon. Woo! That's the first play I've ever made this game. Oh my god, you're all dead. I didn't know that.
No, I'm not.
I knew
I'm right
you
here.
had died. I didn't know everybody had died. That's crazy.
Right here.
Yeah.
I'm better. Oh, I'm not better. I just got smoked.
We got League coming in, setting up. Fortnite's been hanging out a little bit.
Yeah, before their game.
Yep. Oh, they're all here.
Yeah, I'll be commentating.
Oh, I did
tonight,
not.
so-
I did not. That was not.
Oh, good perk.
Okay.
Get over here. I got another perk.
That's sick. I got my second one a while ago, but... Okay. But she did not.
Ooh, that's perfect.
I didn't hold it long enough.
Oh, that's so cool. So you know how Brigida has that charge ability?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you get it
I
too
could
with
do
your
this.
perk. Heck yeah.
Their Juno's down.
That's cool. I'm gonna see if I can get the Widow. Okay, I got the Widow. We're gonna pretend I knew that pack was there and didn't see it while I was trying to run away. Hey, we might win
Good
this.
job on.
We have a minute.
Good job.
Alright. It's only 3 of them. The support's in the tank, though. But if we can just hold them here, somebody stay on point. I'll stay on point. You guys do that. Oh! Widow's on the right. Or, I'm sorry, that's the left.
You want me to out snipe the Widow?
No! Maybe just
Well,
stay
that
on
was a
point.
one-time thing.
Oh no. Oh no,
I'm right
no,
behind you.
no.
Oh no.
I'm dead. I don't know what kept hitting me back to the left. I just could not get over there. Maybe. Alright. Always endorse your supports. And then we won't watch this play. It'll be okay. Alright. Well, that's gonna be it for this time. I'm gonna hop off while everybody's getting settled in, just to make sure that the match streamers have time to stream and get set up. A reminder, tonight we will have Rocket League, League of Legends, Street Fighter, and Fortnite no builds. So, or I'm sorry, not Rocket League.
No,
Rocket League's match got canceled. But that is that. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we don't have any games on Wednesday. Which is pretty cool. So, peace out.